All right, let's get right into it. Today, in this explainer, we're unpacking the highly structured and honestly, sometimes pretty shocking reality of wealth and inequality in India. We're not just going to throw dry statistics at you today. Instead, we're going to visualize exactly how wealth is built in this country, level by level. We'll trace the entire journey from absolute bare-bones survival all the way to absolute power. So get ready, because by the time we wrap this up, I guarantee you're never going to look at your own income or your financial future in the exact same way again.
Think about this for a second, because it's a massive, almost incomprehensible contrast. On one side, we have the net worth of India's richest man, a staggering 10 lakh crore rupees. We're talking about living in a 15,000 crore rupee private residence with 3 helipads and a staff of 600. But then, on the exact opposite side, we have just 150 rupees. That's the daily earning of a wage laborer who is out working in the sweltering heat just to survive until tomorrow. Actually, by the time we finish this explainer, someone at the very top of the food chain will have already generated more money than 99% of Indians will make in an entire year. Today, we're exploring everything that exists between these two wild extremes.
Here is a quick look at the roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll cover the Indian wealth divide. Second, struggle and stability. Third, the middle class reality. Fourth, the wealthy and elite. And finally, the staircase to freedom. Let's start with part 1, the Indian wealth divide.
Now look at how drastically skewed wealth ownership really is here. The top 1% alone, they hold 40% of India's total wealth. Let that sink in. The next 9% holds 25%. So what that means is almost 2/3 of the entire country's wealth is concentrated at the absolute top. Meanwhile, the middle 40%, the actual working engine of the economy, holds just 29%. And the bottom? It's tough to hear, but 45% of the population is sharing just 5.5% of the wealth, while the lowest 5% holds a near invisible 0.4%. It's just a stunning mathematical reality of how our economy is currently balanced.
Moving right along to part 2, struggle and stability.
So, here is the absolute foundation. Level 1, financial struggle. We define this as having a net worth below 5 lakh rupees. Down here, there are virtually zero savings and absolutely no safety net. People at this level are completely dependent on what they make daily or monthly. If the physical labor stops, the food literally stops. It's that brutal. The main financial goal here isn't about investing or compounding or even thinking about the future. It's simply to stabilize, to secure the very next meal and just survive another day. The psychological weight of carrying that burden, of constantly fearing tomorrow, is just immense.
To really understand level 1, take Deba, for example. The guy is 75 years old. At an age where most people should be comfortably kicking back, Deba is out in the rice fields of West Bihar in 42-degree heat. He actually eats plain sugar for breakfast just to trick his stomach into feeling full, and he brings home a measly 150 rupees a day. His one and only goal? Making sure his family eats tonight. He represents roughly 7.3 crore Indians living in extreme poverty. They're trapped in a cycle where the starting line is so far back, sheer survival just consumes every ounce of energy they have.
Step up one rung on this staircase, and you hit level 2, financially stable. At this stage, net worth hovers somewhere between 5 and 25 lakh rupees. If you're here, well, you've essentially managed to stop the financial bleeding. You probably have a basic emergency fund scraped together, and you might just be starting to make your very first small investments. This is a huge transition. The primary goal shifts from mere day-to-day survival to actually beginning to build small assets that will protect you down the road.
You can really see what this looks like with Amar, a 25-year-old security guard working in Noida. Amar pulls in 18,000 rupees a month. He sacrifices sleep, working through these freezing 3 a.m. shifts, just so he can send 10,000 rupees back to his family in Odisha. Now, he does have basic stability, a shared room, regular meals, but he faces immense disrespect from the very high society residents he's paid to protect. It's a harsh contrast, right? He represents about 45% of Indians who work totally exhausting hours to drive our massive service sector, yet capture such a tiny sliver of the economic pie.
That brings us to part 3, the middle class reality. All right, level 3. This is the comfortable or upper middle class. Net worth here sits between 25 lakh and 1 crore rupees. Folks in this group have a solid, dependable income, and their investments are steadily growing. But there's a catch. They are caught squarely in the trap of the active paycheck. They still heavily rely on their monthly salary to keep this comfortable lifestyle afloat. If they stop working, the comfort eventually evaporates. So the main goal here is to accelerate wealth, working frantically to turn that good income into a larger, more permanent asset base before time runs out.
Meet Manoj and Diva. They are the real face of Level 3. Manoj is a BSF officer making about 65,000 rupees a month, often spending weeks away from his family to protect the borders. Diva manages the household and tutors kids on the side for extra cash. They certainly aren't poor, but they aren't rich enough to feel totally secure either. You know, every extra rupee isn't blown on luxuries. It's meticulously saved to fund their son Mukesh's dream of becoming a doctor. They represent the 40% of our population that actually fuels GDP growth, quietly making constant sacrifices to push the next generation just one step higher up the staircase.
Let's move on to Part 4, the wealthy and elite. Welcome to Level 4, the wealthy. At this stage, your net worth is sitting comfortably between 1 and 10 crore rupees. You've got significant assets and investments actively working for you in the background. You're no longer just trying to save a few bucks from your paycheck. The mindset completely flips here. Your financial focus shifts to defensive wealth building. It's all about protecting what you've built from inflation and taxes while letting compounding do its magic to grow your wealth exponentially.
Think about Nishan's reality to really grasp this level. He's a 27-year-old software engineer making 2 lakh rupees a month. He lives in a nice gated society in Mumbai, has time for 5 a.m. yoga, and plays in an indie band on the weekends. He has ultimate freedom. If he quit his job today, his life wouldn't change for at least a year. He's easily in the top 10%. But juxtaposed with this incredible freedom is a deep psychological fear. He rides the elevator with guys who just raised millions in startup funding, and suddenly he feels totally inadequate. He wants to start his own business, but he's frankly terrified of risking the incredibly comfortable lifestyle he's built.
And then, at the absolute top tier, we have Level 5, financially independent and very wealthy. We're talking a net worth of 10 crore rupees and way above. This is the top 1%. The business owners, the celebrities, the real estate magnates. At this level, your productive assets alone can fully support a lavish lifestyle without you ever having to trade another hour of your time for money. Your only real goal is to preserve your capital and let it multiply across generations. At this height, the complete decoupling of time and money means ordinary societal rules often just kind of fade away.
To put this extreme inequality into perspective, let's look at purchasing power. For Manoj, our comfortable Level 3 earner, buying a new iPhone takes 2 entire months of his hard-earned salary. But for a Level 5 earner, that exact same purchase feels like buying a new pair of shoes. A Honda City takes Manoj 2 years of disciplined savings. For the ultra-rich, it's the financial equivalent of picking up a nice dinner set. A 2-bedroom flat takes Manoj 10 years of relentless saving, while for someone at Level 5, it hits the bank account exactly like booking a quick weekend trip. The relativity of money here is just absolutely staggering.
Finally, Part 5, the staircase to freedom.
So how do we actually climb this thing? Well, you don't just magically teleport from Level 1 to Level 5. It requires following a very specific sequence. First, you absolutely must stabilize your income. Second, you rigorously plug the financial leaks to build savings and a proper emergency fund. Third, and this is where momentum really kicks in, you channel those savings into investments. Fourth, as those investments grow and compound over time, they transform into heavy-hitting, wealth-generating assets. And finally, step 5, when the returns from those assets alone cover your entire lifestyle, boom, you unlock true financial freedom. It is a highly systematic mechanical process.
But to move up that flowchart effectively, you need a massive mental shift. Stop asking, how can I save 1,000 rupees more? Start asking, how can I become capable of earning 1 lakh more? Now don't get me wrong, cutting expenses is vital when you're grinding through levels 1 and 2. But to break into the higher echelons, your earning ability is the ultimate lever. You have to focus intensely on expanding your potential by developing high-income skills, whether that's in tech, data, sales, or running a business.
If we map this out over a typical lifetime, a pretty clear timeline emerges. From 18 to 22, your primary job is simple: learn and aggressively build skills. From 22 to 27, you leverage those skills to jack up your income, and you start investing consistently, while deliberately avoiding the trap of lifestyle inflation. Between 7 and 27 and 35, you transition into building real assets, letting compounding do the heavy lifting. And from 35 onwards, your focus shifts to protecting that wealth and generating those sweet passive income streams.
This is the practical engine that drives you up the stairs.
Now, before we wrap up this explainer, we need to ground ourselves for a second. We've talked a lot about climbing, but we have to acknowledge that the starting line is vastly different for everyone. For millions of Indians, like Deepa in the rice fields, or Almar working those freezing night shifts, the system is incredibly tough and unforgiving. So be kind, and be deeply, profoundly grateful for whatever step you're currently starting your journey from.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Based on the 5 levels we covered today, where do you currently stand? And more importantly, using the roadmap we just broke down, what is the very next deliberate step you're going to take on your own wealth staircase? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gives you the clarity you need to go out and build the financial freedom you deserve.